Good morning everyone, today we are going to be talking about these Cinquem weapons and if it is worth making them or not. But first of all, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to talk about is Cinquem weapons versus Relik weapons, because this is a common discussion that has been going around, and well, the Cinquem weapons are gonna be your best in slot weapons regardless, simply because of its attack stat at plus 50. As you can see here, my Relik dependence, which is the katana at plus 50, gives me 376 attack power, while the Cinquem katana will give me 385. So just based off the attack power, the Cinquem weapons are better already. However, I know there are a lot of people very concerned about the Photon scale requirement, especially if you're trying to get your Cinquem weapon up to potential level 4. It's going to take 1,250 Photon scales, so that is a really tall order to ask a regular player to try to farm. Because I mean, look at me, I play every single day and I'm only at 643 Photon scales, so I can only imagine if you are a more casual player or you just don't have time to play NGS every single day, you're probably sitting on a lot less than what I have. However, what I want to bring to everyone's attention is you don't need to rush the level 4 potential. I know the level 4 potential costs 600 Photon scales, which is the most expensive upgrade, because if you look at level 1, 2, and 3, if you just add these together, that's only 650. Sure, it's still 650. However, at potential level 3, your Cinquem weapon is on par with a clean Relik. So that is a Relik weapon without a fixa. Now, it's very easy to get a Cinquem weapon with a fixa. The prices are going to drop significantly and continuously drop as more and more people farm combat zones as well as do the Dark Falls urgent quest, simply because these weapons are dropping like candy. So what I want to bring to your attention here is the level 3 potential. As you can see here, potency plus 22% increases rest assign HP recovery and reduced PP consumption by 1% of the number of different weapon and unit augments up to 15%. So the first thing I want to clarify over here is, yes, the augments have to be different. If you have the same augments on your weapons as well as your armors like what I do, then they do not double dip. So in my case, if I was to use the Cinquem weapons with my current gear, I would get 8% PP reduction simply because I have 5 augments over here. And then the different augments here would be the Addy Stamel, I would have the Didal Soul, as well as the Alt Secreta. So this is what is different, so 5 plus 3 equals 8. However, if you manage to unlock the level 4 potential, you actually gain a significant amount of potency. Your potency increases from 22% to 26%, and the cap also increases for the PP reduction up to 20%. However, as I said before, it is not very realistic to get this 20% at potential level 4, simply because you're going to need to have 20 different augments, which is actually very difficult to do without sacrificing a lot of DPS. So personally, I think that this 20% is a trap. I do not recommend trying to go for this 20%. I would stick with your normal augments, maybe at most try to get like a 10% PP reduction, but anything above that I personally think is detrimental to your actual playstyle as well as your stats. But I know there are many players out there which simply don't have enough time to do all these urgent quests, to farm for the 5 scales every day, to do all of this stuff, and it's perfectly fine to skip the Cinquem weapons. However, keep in mind that the Cinquem weapons are currently the best in slot weapons. It's just a matter of time. As long as you can consistently play every single day, you will eventually unlock your level 4 potential and have the best in slot weapon, and then you can just slowly work on the augments, and you can always transfer fixes later if you can't afford to buy a high level fixa weapon right now. But let's say you have 0 Photon scales right now and you really don't have that much time to play the game. It's perfectly fine to stick with your Griaga weapons and just use that until the March event kicks in, because in March we are getting another seasonal event. Once that seasonal event comes in, we will get seasonal weapons, which are most likely going to be the light weapons. So you can just use those seasonal weapons as a placeholder until you do farm up a bunch of materials, and then hopefully by the end of that seasonal event you will have a surplus of Photon scales saved up, and they're probably going to add more ways for us to obtain Photon scales, probably from the event shop as well. And you can also get a bunch of arms refiners, so it's not the end of the world if you can't upgrade to the Cinquem weapons right now simply because you don't have the resources, you can just stick with your Griaga weapon, you're gonna be fine, okay? However, for my impatient friends out there that just want to max out everything right now, what I could recommend is maybe stick with a Relik weapon. Even though the Relik weapon is going to be weaker than the Cinquem weapon when they're both maxed out, but you can max out a Relik weapon today, while the Cinquem weapon on the other hand is time gated, since you can only farm so many scales every single day, and you have to wait for urgent quests, and you're kind of at the mercy of RNG of like when you can farm these scales. So that is the main issue, and probably one of the bigger reasons on why people are still buying Relik weapons, simply because you can max it out now and have a very powerful weapon. Now, another alternative to max out your Cinquem weapon, or at least get to potential level 3 very quickly and without using any Photon Scales, is gonna be of course the end potential unlock substitute. There are 3 levels of these, so level 1 will unlock the level 1 potential without consuming any Photon Scales, so you save 150 Photon Scales if you use the level 1. So at the time of this recording, the potential unlock substitute level 1 costs around 1 million Meseta. Now if you want to upgrade your level 1 potential to your level 2 potential, you're going to need to use the level 2 version, which is selling for almost 5 million, and if you want to unlock the level 3 potential, you're going to have to pay up 13 million. However, keep in mind that you are saving 650 scales if you buy all 3 of these, but at a very heavy cost of Meseta, of course. However, this is definitely a viable strategy for players who have a lot of Meseta but simply just don't have the time or don't want to farm for Photon Scales, simply because you're saving yourself 650 if you buy all of these. And let's say you're a relatively new player, you've played the game for a week or 2 and you don't have a lot of Photon Scales simply because you're new to the game. This is also another alternative in order to help yourself save a little bit of those Photon Scales. So for example, in my case, if I wanted to go the Cinquem weapons, I would probably buy level 1, 2, and 3 and then use my 600 extra scales to unlock the level 4 potential immediately. Then I would have a potential level 4 weapon right off the bat, like right now. So that is an alternative, that is a choice that I could take. However, in my case, I am sticking with my Relik katana. Simply because, well, I was blessed by RNG and I have pretty much a best in slot katana, even though if I had the same stats and the same augments on the Cinquem katana, also at plus 50, it would deal more damage than my Relik weapon, but not enough damage to justify me spending 1,250 Photon Scales. So in my case, I'm saving all of my scales because you never know, maybe the next armor that comes out or the next weapon that comes out is also going to need Photon Scales. So in my case, I'm fine, I'm saving all of my Photon Scales, I'm not going these Cinquem weapons. However, for the majority of players who play the game every single day, I do recommend going this weapon path simply because it is very powerful and you will eventually get it to potential level 4. I recommend trying to get to potential level 3 as quickly as possible because that is when the Cinquem weapon is as strong as a Relik. However, if you simply just want an upgrade from the Griaga weapons, then simply get the potential to level 2 and you're already out DPSing the Griaga weapons, okay? Now I know some of you guys may be curious about where I got all of my numbers from. Well, I will leave a link to 2 videos in the description below. The first video is Thrift's video. He goes really in depth on the mathematical breakdowns. He's got like Excel spreadsheets and stuff, so you can definitely check that out. The second video is Chrono Catastrophes. He's also a brainiac, so you can also check out his video. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!
What can I say except you're welcome, for the heels